Hey everyone, welcome back to the Smokin' Studios for another live episode of the Rocky Mountain Cigar Show. We've got a great show planned for tonight. We've got Pauly DiSilvio. Let me just say, big shout out to Pauly. Pauly made September one of my most memorable months with two living legends of film and cigar guys, and couldn't be happier, couldn't be more grateful to Pauly. And Pauly and I had an interesting connection there. We kind of just started talking. We had a known connection of Abe, and we kind of just fucking hit it off, and it turned into a really good relationship. I actually talked to him quite a bit. We reach out to each other quite a bit, and he's given me advice already on life situations, so that's been fun. He's not a guy that's ashamed or embarrassed to kind of offer up a word of wisdom, and that's one of the things I've really loved about bringing Pauly into my circle. Is he's kind of like Abe. If you're talking about a situation, he's gonna give you an opinion, whether you like it or not. Oftentimes, the opinion, most I've found, all the time, the opinion's been worthwhile, like getting my ass back in the gym, which is why I did yesterday, right? So we're gonna chat for a quick sec. I actually went back to Planet Fitness here. Okay, I had some buddies, Pauly being one of them. Got to get back into shape. Yes, I do. Round is not the shape I want to be in. It's just the shape I am right now. And boy, I am sore. I barely did anything last night. I barely completed my workout. I woke up this morning stiff as a board. So you're gonna see a different me coming up, hopefully. A little bit bigger, a little bit smaller here in the stomach area. But over the next couple weeks, guys, you are gonna see this studio entirely change. I am revamping everything, setting up cameras differently, lighting will be different, background will be the same, but how everything appears, my chair, it's gonna be much nicer. So I'm really excited to kind of showcase that off here over the next couple of weeks. But enough blathering by me, because let's be honest, nobody really comes and watches the show for me to begin with. So let's go ahead and bring in the guest, the man, the myth, the legend, Pauly DiSilvio. Hey, how was that for a New York entrance?
Hello, hello. Nice to speak to you. I don't remember ever saying you were out of shape, so don't put
No,
that on
no,
me.
no, no, no. You said I needed to. You said when I was talking to you about how I wanted to get back into shape and eat better, you had said you should hit the gym and start moving and working out a little bit.
Oh, did I? Hmm.
So you
You
and
know,
a
I
few
got hit.
others.
I got hit a lot of times. Honestly, you see, my left eye is always closed. So if I said that, maybe I don't remember off the top of my head. But
It was all
if you
positive
keep, you got to
encouragement.
get moving or get dying. Get dying or get moving. Either one.
It was actually after the Chaz show because Chaz kind of
Oh,
talked about it when I asked him how he stayed so young. Um, so Paulie, you've been on the show three times or twice already.
yeah. I love this
With
show.
with
Thank you. Thank you for that. That's my
yeah,
pleasure.
but we kind of saw you in the background. You were just you kind of there. So now that we actually have you fully on the show, go ahead, do us a favor. For anybody that doesn't know who you are, introduce yourself. Give everybody a little bit of background on La Casa, and then we'll kick. And then from there, we'll do the "What are you smoking tonight" segment.
Great. So I'm Pauly Cigars, aka Pauly DiSilvio. But I'm Paul DiSilvio, Casa Grande Cigars, Arthur Avenue, where the Bronx Tale was made, in the market on Arthur Avenue, which is the real Little Italy in the Bronx, New York. That was the same block that Bronx Tale was based. My dad grew up in that block with jazz. I grew up in that neighborhood my whole life. I've been there in some way, shape, or form. And if you go there, you'll see my 10 cigar rollers. It's definitely an anomaly to have New York with the New York State and New York City regs, 10 cigar rollers banging it out every day. They are the A team of cigar rolling because all of them are over 60. Some of them are in their 70s. We have one in their 80s, and they've all been supervisors and bosses over in the DR. They all come from the same town, Tamboril in Santiago. That's the Dominican Republic. Anybody who knows that town knows it's the cigar capital, really, of the world. And not Cuba, but Santiago, Tamboril, and every other corner or every other storefront is cigar only factory. So they're all from there, and they've made their life careers with me, and that's why I have the number one team in cigar rolling. I think.
And you are a huge anomaly. Like, I remember when Abe went up to your shop and showed everybody your space. Like, it's more than just cigars, though, that is in your space, in your area.
Well, now I renovated it to where see a lot of people will come in just see a cigar factory and have to go to the back to see a beautiful deli that we have there called Mike's Famous Deli. You have a world famous butcher's, Peter's Meat Market. You have a lot of Boyano fruits. They're very. It's real Little Italy, born and bred. Whole thing is I just renovated the whole front. So when you first walk in now, you'll see my cafe, which is O Cafe on one side. Other side, you'll see my boutique of pizza. I don't call it a restaurant or a pizzeria. I call it a pizza boutique. It's the best pizza you ever had in your life, and it's really beautiful to be watched and made. We only serve pizza, antipasta, different kind of pizzas, and beer and wine. And then when you come over to me, you'll see my cigar factory in the middle. So if you come and take a cigar rolling class, in between doing the presses and you flip the cigar over, you can go have some wine, some pizza, and we have desserts in my cafe for people who are coming in Arthur Avenue and they want to have maybe dessert after they eat from one of the other amazing restaurants because it is the best dining in the world. Come in to finish your night off at Old Cafe and stop by, grab a cigar fresh right off the table. Have a glass of Taz wine, Cabernet. Did I do enough cheap plugs there?
Hey, it's a one stop shop for a great night.
Yeah,
From
it's
food,
it's my
cigars,
little haven.
drinks.
It's my little haven, and it's so funny. I think I make the best everything, and the best. Well, that's all relative. I don't think I am the best. I think I make the best for what I could do. I can only do the best I can. So when I come off a plane from Cali, Florida, wherever I'm traveling from, I can't wait to just get in my car and go down to the Bronx, go to my place and have a cup of espresso or have a pizza from my place. It's just the Bronx is always in me. I'm not one of these people that are, oh, I can't wait to get out of New York and move to Florida because I don't let politics get in my mind. I love New York no matter what. So
You just
I'm always like,
survive.
I always keep my place special. That's when my father's first job was in that building. Um, Whenever that was, 70 years, 60 years ago. Um, and he had a totally different first job. Back then, there was a fish store in there and a fish market, and that was like one of his first jobs. So now he's the director of maintenance for the New York Yankees. He's, that was his first job, but it's funny how he started his life there, and I'll be hopefully ending everything, no matter what business I build, no matter what I do down the future, or how big I get in some things, or far I get in others. It'll always
You're
and that's my bread and butter is the Arthur Avenue Market, La Casa Grande Cigars. That's where my bread is buttered, and when people ask me if I'm ever gonna leave there, I'll stay other places, but I'll never live anywhere else or hang out anywhere else for long periods of time.
you'll always come back to New York.
Mhm.
It doesn't
Mhm.
matter where you are. You're always New York will always be a home base.
Yeah, yeah, it's kinda like the Neil Diamond song, I love LA. I love going to LA. I go there all the time, and I like it. I like the weather. Florida's a little boring for me, but the weather. I love beach. So I like going to the beach in Florida. I don't put it down. I don't put anywhere down. I love going to see Abe and in Palm Beach, West Palm Beach, and just. But New York, I need to see the action, the grime, the streets, the Bronx. That's just my thing.
So I want to kind of jump in here to the "What are we smoking tonight" segment. I think we're both smoking the same thing, right?
This is a
The
cigar. I don't know if this is what you're smoking.
So I've got it looks like to be a Maduro on my
It's got the
end.
pigtail at the end.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. This cigar, no one has besides you. It's called the Amico. I made it. I made only a certain amount. I think I only made about 3,000 for Abe Dabena for Smoke In, and I think we'll be giving this away in uh, during the Great Smoke. They'll be for sale, but I think he might be doing like a one off in the grab bags that you guys get. You'll be also able to buy them at the booth at the Great Smoke. Um, but this is called the Amico. I made this in the market in the Bronx. It's a 10-year age Nicaraguan Dominican blend with an Ecuador binder and a Brazilian Maduro wrapper. I've been aging it for about a year and a half. Um, I kind of like dry box aged them. I have a wine cellar where I keep all of the wine that I made for Chaz. So I put them in there, and they're pretty fantastic. Abe put together the box and the labels, and he did a lot to help me with that. It was his idea, so that's our project. Look out for that. Actually, you know what? I have a special announcement about these at the end of the show.
Okay. Well, everyone, that you can see on my screen, this is the cigar unlit. It has a beautiful little pigtail, and it is a very good cigar. It smokes wonderfully. Um, so I was really pleased and grateful that you were able to slide a couple over to me because it's one of my favorite sizes. First off, um, but
One of
how?
age too. A lot of people don't make these, and the truth is, if you don't know how to blend, you shouldn't make them, and that's just the case. So and there's reasons for that. Just how compact it is. You're gonna be kind of gonna be showing your ass if you don't know how to make a cigar. If you're gonna try to make a Lancero, a Corona, or a double Corona, and not know how to blend.
Yeah, you gotta have good rollers because those are
Mhm.
definitely the harder sizes to roll. Now, tell everybody what it is that I'm smoking. Now, this is all user error, everyone. I cracked the tip when I cut it. That's why I'm using the sidecar. But this is the first time that's happened. Like I said, complete user error. So, what is this Maduro?
Is this what I'm smoking? Did I have a
No, no,
pigtail at the
no,
end?
no, no, no. This is not the one. This is not the Amico. This is the just the Maduro that you sent me. Your La Casa
I
Grande
can't see the
unbanded.
what's the size in the girth? Because
It's
I'm
a
blind in
Toro.
my left eye.
Toro. Probably about a 50, 50, 50. I would say 50.
Hold on. Someone
It's a
tried to call
six.
through. Hold on. Someone tried to call through and they took you off speaker. Hold on. Ay, ay, ay. How about now? Do you hear
I
me?
got you. I got you. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Okay, now great. You're back.
Okay. No,
Yep.
this is just one of your La
Um,
Casa Grande Toros. It looks like a Maduro that you sent me unbanded. Oh, he'll be right back. Oh, there we go.
okay.
Okay, so all
It's
this
it's
is
it's a
this is
Toro.
one of the unbanded Toro Maduros that you have.
Okay. That is the same blend as this, but in a Toro size. Um, I'm gonna give away one of those cigars. It's the same blend, but just a little thick. and it's my favorite cigar. I smoke that cigar every single day. Uh, I'll give one of those cigars away free with an offer that I'm going to make only if they mention Colorado, Rocky Mountain Cigar Show, and Ryan.
Now, you and I were talking before the show, and you had mentioned it, and a couple other people actually brought it up to me real quick. I'm also going to be chasing this down with the amazing Hidden Barn small batch slow fade, which you can get right now off their website. Links and stuff are in the chat or in the comment section below. Definitely, if you're a bourbon whiskey drinker, give Hidden Barn and Neeley Family Distillery a shot. They are absolutely fantastic. Something like 11 generations. So, all right. Thank you so much, Steve Sacker, for sponsoring the "What Are You Smoking Tonight" segment of the show. Um, we were talking about this before the show, and it's funny that you said Rocky Mountain Cigar Show did Ryan. That made me think of when Chaz was on. He thought it was my name was Rocky, and you mentioned it, and a couple other people did, and several people were like, "Dude, why didn't you like correct it?" I'm like, "I'm not gonna correct Chaz. He can call me as long as what he's calling me is not derogatory. I have no problem with him calling me Rocky. Not that it's
Well,
a
I said that after. I
nickname."
says, you kept calling the guy Rocky, right? He goes, did I? I go, yeah. It says, and he just didn't. It goes with the show, Rocky Mountain. He probably didn't realize
Yeah.
Colorado. He didn't. You could have corrected him. Fine.
It wasn't a big deal. I was just grateful to have him on. Had him on longer than I thought he would stay on too, a little bit. But no, he could have called me a lot of things I wouldn't have cared about because that was a huge honor to have him on. So I want to kind of get into you. Like you are such a fascinating guy. You have your hand in so many different facets of businesses. I mean, you're looking at opening up something additional with Chaz. You've got all this stuff in New York. How did you get like you picked a lane and now you're everywhere. So how did you even start?
Well, for starters,
Hey
and
Nate.
I'm not gonna give a sob story. Um, no, I I was very bad in school. I was very, I was blind. I have a disease in my eye called keratoconus, so I had a cornea transplant in that eye, and this eye is about to go eventually. Um, the lenses or glasses don't help the situation because it's a cornea deformity where you have to have a piece of glass like form it a certain shape or get a transplant, which I did on this side, but it kind of really didn't take. So still working on it. So I can never read. I mean, I think I have a touch of the tism, you know what I mean, as far as, able to like, you know, do things, formulate math and all of that stuff at the time. I couldn't see the board. Um, I always drifted and daydreamed. My mind was always in different places. I was a big dreamer. I think as a kid, I used to be, and I was addicted to that, to wrestling, WWF. So I would be sitting at my table, like writing matches for like next year's WrestleMania, who I would want to see versus who. And I never did any homework. I wasn't good in school. I was dyslexic, so I saw everything backwards. And so, sob story. That's a sob story. Um, I don't think I liked anything more than kind of like fighting, being, crazy and, running around. And I became a bouncer. All my co-workers were my wrestling coaches. So I was like 17, 18, working with all my wrestling coaches. My sensei, Tommy May, rest in peace, he passed away. He was Chuck Zito's first instructor in Ishanru Karate. He was mine as well. I'm younger than Chuck. But, I was just a guy, I worked with my sensei, my wrestling coaches. I was working at a nightclub called Rascals. It was a really crazy, fun life that a lot of kids wouldn't understand. So I think that I never really had the mind to just go and work uh 9 to 5. I don't put it down. Every work is important. I just don't think it was for me. I didn't think I wouldn't be able to concentrate on something 8 hours a day and not lose my mind. I don't think. So, you know, I did what I did, throughout my life, and eventually when uh 21 rolled around, I opened a cigar store in Arthur Avenue in the market. And some people laughed about that. They would, they wouldn't laugh to my face, but I would feel it like,
Sure, sure.
this is like an old fashioned market. There was no like light, like there was no air conditioning or heat in there. It was all vegetable stores and an old woman selling old ladies' underwears and a Chinese lady selling toys from China. It was just like really a dumpy looking, but it was very famous. All the
Man,
tourists would go there. And I just opened up a little cigar shop and I used to smoke in there. I'm talking about 30 years ago. And I used to smoke cigars and I called up Padron and I spoke to them and I says, listen, I'm a guy from the Bronx. I only smoke Padrones and nobody was getting anniversaries. Well, the next week he gave me like 20, 30 boxes of anniversaries. I don't know why. I mean, he just must have felt like people were waiting a year. I don't know if you remember. You probably don't know this. People were waiting for like a year on a waiting list to get that box, especially when they were gifted by somebody. I mean, it was just so hard to get those. I was selling other people's name brands, Macanudos, Davidoffs, Ashtons, Fuentes, things like that. And about a year into that, I got very bored because I felt like I was working for them in some way. And so I just went and looked into how to get my own cigar roller. Back then, I thought, you just get a guy who rolls cigars. Well, I got one guy, I brought him in, and there would be a line to get one cigar. And it would be like wait, an hour's wait to just get a cigar. We used to have a line going in and out. And it became this real big draw. And then somebody asked me to do a wedding. I didn't understand what they meant by that. I said, "What do you mean do a wedding?" And they said, "Well, could you come to my wedding and roll cigars?" So 30 years ago, I was like, I guess. All right. Well, how much are you going to charge me? So I thought of some crazy high, ridiculous price because I didn't think, I was just like, okay. And he says, "Oh, I'll pay it." It was an Albanian guy. And anybody who knows Albanian people is that they throw humongous weddings and their wedding guest always want to outdo the other. It's kind of like Italian culture, same thing.
yeah. Keeping up with the
Armenian,
Joneses
yes.
mentality with weddings.
So I started a whole new business model by that one wedding of all weddings, and I still know the guy to this day. Um, we did that wedding, and out of that wedding came, I don't know, dozens of weddings. And then you go to that wedding, you get more people. Then somebody, could you do my golf outing? Could you do this? And here I was in a car with my cigar roller, driving all over the tri-state area, um, doing cigar weddings and parties and events.
So, real quick, what years was this?
I don't know what's 30 years ago. I
So, would you
can't do the
say
math for me.
95, 95,
Maybe
95,
96,
95,
maybe
96? Okay.
97 when the roller, about 97
So
when the
during the
roller.
cigar boom too, right at the tail end
I
of
want
it.
to say no, it was a little later than that. Actually, it was like 97. Yeah, around the boom. But with me, uh, I never paid attention to Cigar Aficionado or any of the magazines. I just didn't. Um, the way I started smoking cigars is I was at a nightclub that I used to run the VIP room at with this guy, Jeff. He was a police officer back in the days, and I used to let people through the ropes up in the VIP at the China Club. Was the hottest place to go on a Monday night, and up there was Chuck Knobloch, Derek Jeter, all these really Tom Cruise, like very famous people. And somebody gave me a Cuban cigar. It wasn't. It was fake. It was like a sweet tipped Cohiba like knockoff. Remember those
Hmm.
with the Cohiba label and they dip them in shit. They make them in the DR. And I said, "Wow, this is terrible." and it was okay. I thought it was alright, but I was just like, "This isn't was this what this is about?" And someone gave me a Dunhill Cabrera, and I still remember that experience till this day. That was my favorite cigar of all time, was this Dunhill Cabrera in a white, um, canister. It was really cool, and I loved it so much that I went to a bouncer that used to smoke cigars all the time, and I said, "Could you get me a box of Cubans or Dunhills or something?" He goes, "I'm gonna give you this cigar. Tell me if you like it." It was an Opus X. Now, if you remember the Opus X back then when it first came out, it was really an amazing cigar. I'm not saying it's not now. I just don't smoke them now, but they back then, 30 years ago, whenever it came out, it was amazing. And so he said, I could get you a box for like 200 something dollars. I think it was like 250. Back then, that was a lot
That's
of
a
money.
steal
Yeah,
today if you get an
yeah.
Opus
I mean,
box
back
for
then it was a lot of money though. So I was just
that.
like, really? They go for that much? And I got my little humidor from a mall cigar smoke shop. I remember it was like I still got that humidor, and the ones that don't keep anything humid, little boxes, and
The humidor that's not a humidor.
they don't work. Like, but you know, they're like, could you? How do I get my cigars like they're so dry? I says, yeah, because you got a humidor from like you know Asia or something that's they probably made in like made in a hurry, not even made in Asia, made in a hurry.
Veneered.
So it's really windy. So I have to pull on this. So um I started smoking cigars and I garnered a big love for it. And I wasn't a big reader of Cigar Aficionado or anything. And I just went by what people asked me to get for the shop when I first opened. So I would get really weird stuff, really different cigars called Buccanero, like weird stuff all over the map. And then when I started making my own cigar, I got rid of all of them. Um, I had an account with General Cigar, which was good because they made me. I used to do a lot. I still do a lot of shows at the Macanudo Club. I started becoming the exclusive cigar roller for Gran Habano Room. So the last Wednesday of every month, we used to be there rolling cigars. I got a real big, big name for myself, but I would always get invited to the big smokes and and all this, uh, all these PCAs. I don't know what they were called back then. So
I
one time I got 2 tickets to the big smoke. So I said to my roller, roll me up about 200 cigars and put them each in a sandwich baggie with my card in it. And I told Dave Savona this when I did my interview with them a couple weeks ago. I went to the big smoke and I started handing out cigars to people. I was just handing people cigars. Talking about 20 something, 20 years, 27 years ago, maybe. And Dave goes, "They didn't catch you?" I was like, "No, nobody even noticed." It was at the Marriott Marquis. And I met Carlito, his dad was still alive. And he goes, Paulie, man, I know about you and I don't know how you do it. How do you spend that much? You spend that 100 something dollars a day. Where in DR in Nicaragua, I'm not going to say what they cost, but it's very inexpensive to hire a cigar roller to make cigars out in the DR. I mean, you know that, right?
they get paid by the
Yeah, yeah.
cigar.
Yeah, but it's like if I pay someone here $200 a day and you pay
Oh,
someone over there $15 a day, I
yeah,
mean, you could easily sell out and go there and just forget about all the people who helped you over here. I mean, it's just
correct.
so, but I'm not saying the cigar industry should do that because not many of them had cigar stores in New York. Like that's
You're
you know what I
also,
mean?
but you're
They have a
also
different mindset.
the whole brand though is New York. So like it in my opinion, the fact that you have the rollers in New York is like part of the niche of the brand. It's now if you got rid of them, it kind of I feel would kind of bring the brand down a little bit because part of it is get a cigar rolled in New York while you're in New York. or get a cigar rolled in this country, you know. And so I love that about the brand. I think that's a lot of fun, and the fresh rolling too at the same time. So
It's a double-edged sword as far as I love where it's got me, and I'll never take that away. When Chaz says, "Okay, you make the Bronx Tale for me in the market, but how do we take this national?" Because in the beginning he was like, "Just do it. I don't want any money for it." He doesn't give that Bronx Tale name to anybody. He owns that. That's a very important brand that he has. He owns that brand.
yeah, it's
He
his
was like, "Why
baby.
do we take it national?" There's no way that I could cigars that are spoken for 30 years, clients that have been with me for 20, when we first started the project 5 years ago, 25 years, tell them, okay, I'm shutting down my factory for 2 weeks so I can make cigars
Mm,
called the Bronx Tale. And we don't know how it's going to go nationwide. So you guys could just wait for your cigars. You know what I mean? And then make a bunch of Bronx Tales, age them. It would have been,
a
the
nightmare.
project would have never happened
No.
without hurting my store. So you find a guy who can fulfill that. So I teamed up with Sander Gregg. They have a company called Epic Cigars. It's one of their brands, and we did it on one of their factories out in the Dominican Republic. I gave them the blend. I went out there. We worked on it for about a year before we even tested it, and it was okay. Uh, I loved the way I did it. So it was really hard when we finally get to where I wanted it to be and tasted it aged. Because remember, my cigars, unless I say they're aged, a lot of times when you order them, they're right off the table.
Hmm.
So it's a different smoke that some people are
Very
used to.
much.
But to me, it's the only way I know how to smoke is something off the table. So uh, it got to where I loved it. We made 1,000 boxes called the Bronx Tale Limited Edition. It came in a beautiful Ferrari uh, case, like a beautiful cover, and we only made 1,000 of them. We blew those out. Then we made a core line called the Calogero, and that I did through Epic also. And we had a ton of uh, parties like platinum premiere releases, red carpets and stuff with celebrities, like really, really upscale parties and events, to showcase these things. Then I went over to like the big smokes, the PCAs. And the reason I never went to them because first I didn't smoke those cigars. I'm not a fanboy of anything really. And I didn't want someone else's idea, logo, or the way of doing business to get stuck in my mind. And I would, without even knowing, copy it and steal someone's mindset or get someone's mindset. I have a way of doing things, and it might be sometimes considered the pressed way, a nutty way, but I'm the type of guy that I won't do anything for a while because my mind's not right for a moment, and then everything goes perfect. I throw a bunch of shit against the wall, something sticks, but it'll always happen rapid fire where I just create. And I know that if I went to those events, that I would just fall into, all right, let's go to the DR. Let's make cigars there. I'll take a picture on the horse in the tobacco fields, stretching out a leaf. I'll do everything that everybody else does. Nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying I would have done that, and I wouldn't have had what this thing is in the Bronx, which is special. It's definitely something that's not done anywhere else, and it's an anomaly. So I'm glad I didn't do it. I've done it in the last 2 years because how could I not? Epic wanted
Sure.
Chaz at the Big Smoke. He wanted them at the PCA. Abe had us at the Great Smoke,
Yep.
and we went, and then people started asking me to do events and appearances and stuff. And I've always been a big fish in a small pond. Everybody knows Pauly Cigars. When on the East Coast, and I wasn't not known, but then now I'm in these other showcases, and then I met really good people like Matty Rock, Abe DeBena, Eric Espinosa, like really cool people. Jose Blanco, who I love. He's a mentor, uh, greatest blender probably ever. And I just started doing a different pivot. And I remember Abe saying, you're very successful in this, but now you're doing a pivot. So it's kind of like you're starting over. And it's true. And it really is different, to go to these events and you see 1,000 other vendors and everybody's kind of getting along. I'm kind of like a competition guy. So when I see like, I don't know, this company sitting having dinner with that company and this company, I'm like, wow, that's pretty wild. I'm not, it's just not, so I'm not a people person like that to just like sit with anybody. And I think it's really cool that they're able to do that, have that kind of brotherhood and, you know, uh, help each other, and the legacy brands have been brilliant to me. They've been amazing. They've been fantastic. Guys like Fuente, Carlito, some other people that are the main brands, bosses have treated me like gold. They've never treated us like, well, he came with Chaz Palminteri and he cut the line, or he just got in because of that. They don't know my 30-year story that I've done it. Probably, maybe I've done it even more successfully than they have. It looks like they've done it 10 times more successfully. I'm not saying I was more successful. I'm saying nobody knows, so they see this guy here. So in my mind, I'm like, they're thinking, now see, like the boutique brands, the small brands, some of them are real great. And some people, like, they're just, they look at you with that eye, like, like, oh, he's got Chaz, so that's going to push him to the front of the line, whereas the legacy brands, they don't need nothing from me. And they really treated us like, wow, you belong here. So that was really cool. Um, I became friends with Martin Cove, Cobra Kai, Sensei John Kreese, and we just became friends. That was the way that was. It wasn't like, oh, do you want to create a cigar? He was a real cigar smoker. He loved my cigars. And I just said to him, hey, you want to do a No Mercy cigar or something like that? Snake bite or some shit? And he said, oh, yeah, I'd love that. And that was that. And it took about 2 years to get me to make that blend
Now,
perfect.
go ahead,
A-
continue, sir.
And it wasn't something that I can do on my own and really stay on top of the La Casa Grande flag. So I had to give it to somebody, which I did. Um, And he actually laid out all the money. Is Sanj Patel from Jersey, Sanj's smoke shop. I was brought to him by a fantastic guy called a brother, Matty Rock. He's an awesome dude. He brought me over to Sanj. We made a deal together to get this Martin Cove cigar called Prodigal Son. Prodigal Son is a graphic novel that Martin Cove wrote.
So good, guys. Like, I'm not even kidding. One of my top cigars I've smoked this year with this year's release. I think that cigar I think should be making some lists at the end of this year. My personal opinion. It was a very very good cigar.
I love that cigar.
I'll be upfront with you. It hit my palate more than Bronx Tale. Bronx Tale's obviously fantastic, but yeah, that ruggedness of that Prodigal Son was just it was toothy. It had a bit of a chew to the smoke. It was just the retro hail was great. It was a bright flavor. It was awesome. I loved it. I absolutely
Well,
loved it.
thank you, but also thank you to Chico Rivas. He put that cigar together. Chico Rivas is like the next probably big thing. Look out for that dude in Santo Domingo. He's he's got a great mind for cigar making, and it was made in his factory. And you know, Sanj believed in it, uh, and we moved forward with this big step. And I think we made 1,000 boxes, and there's not many left. There might be a
Yo,
handful. Um, so thank you to Sanj and Maddie for helping me with that. Um, Martin is very proud of that cigar. Martin didn't want to do a cash grab. He didn't want to put a snake on the box and he didn't want to do this whole like cartoonish thing because he wanted people to know it wasn't just a celebrity cigar. He's in the business of being a cigar man now. He's in the cigar business.
Plus, it says a
So
lot that he smoked the non-Cuban, because he usually before he released Prodigal Son, he was much heavier on the Cuban side than the New World side.
only
That's what I
Cubans,
mean. That's what, yeah. Like I
only
didn't want
Cubans.
to say only because I wasn't sure, but I know from his Instagram and everything, all I ever saw was Cubans, and I know they were all real. So like,
Well,
there's
I
no
know where he
question
got them, so I know exactly where he got
about
them. So I know
yeah,
that they're real.
yeah, exactly. Like, there's no question about. So that says a lot, though, when he's used to that and then switches over. Because I feel from the few Cubans I've smoked, the Prodigal Son hits much heavier than most of the
It's an
Cubans
amazing
I've
cigar.
smoked. It's fantastic.
I
It really is.
I think it's one of the best out now. If you didn't get the box, you better get it now. LCGcigars.com. If you get that, you want to get Prodigal Son. There's probably like 100 boxes left, and they're all going with me. To because the other ones are spoken for events. And people who bought them to give them for meet and greets with Marty when he comes to your store or store you. All of them spoken for or being sold at different shops. But once they're gone, they're gone. We're going over to part two, which is going to be Love and Bullets, because that's just always the way he signed off his text to me, or if he wrote me a note, it was always, all right, Paulie, Love and Bullets, Marty. And I says, well, it has to be the name of the cigars. We have to call one Love and Bullets. And that's going to be a surprise on how those cigars come out and look. And that's going to be part two. And hopefully part two will be here in the spring. We started working on that already. So if you didn't get the Prodigal Son part one, I go to lcgcigars.com and order them now, because whatever I have in my store is what I'm going to have. I'm not making any more. I'm not having any more made. You won't be able to get them. And that's
It's
just to
not
keep
a
the
core
integrity.
line, guys. It's a one and done. So it is. It is truly a limited release. When it's gone, it's gone.
And hold on to it if you don't want to. You buy two and hold on to one, because I'm telling you that cigar is going to be
No, no, no. Buy three,
sought
smoke
after.
two, and hold on to one.
Well, 10 years from now, people are going to be paying a lot of money for those, but not from me, for whatever collector has them. That I know for sure. And Marty will sign a box for you and sign a picture and send it to you. That's fine. He'll do that for you. But the cigar is great. So we didn't put like we didn't put like Sensei cigars. I don't know.
No,
Maybe
no.
there's already a Sensei. I don't know. We didn't
You
do
did a
like
great.
you wouldn't know if he didn't put his name on it. You wouldn't know it belonged to him, because it's a picture of kind of him in an animation that he wrote,
Mhm.
and it's actually being picked up. Uh, I shouldn't say the name.
Well, he said it on the
Oh,
show.
he said the streaming service.
I'm pretty sure he said, because it was
Okay,
being.
well then
Yeah,
if you're not sure, then you can go back to
yeah. Go back to
his
the.
last show and tell the streaming service is called Prodigal Son, and it's an amazing western about a man who's looking to take out a whole slew of gang members that killed this young boy's family, and the young boy he takes the young boy on, and it's Prodigal Son, and it's a four-part comic book series. Look for it in your local bookshops or look for it online, Prodigal Son.
It's
So
also going to be re-released in a graphic novel format too. From what.
it is. It's already out.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So you got the comic and the graphic novel format.
The comic and the graphic novel. Now, all you got to do is wait for it to come out
Yeah.
on live action, and that's going to happen with Marty and his son Jesse. That's going to be a big deal. So he kind of wanted to go forward with his love for westerns. He loves John Kreese. It's the gift that kept on giving, right?
It's a
After,
gift I don't
after
think he would have realized that kept on giving when he did
yeah,
it
40
either.
years,
Yeah.
he's been doing so. But he loves to just be known for he's such an intellectual, and he's a brilliant writer. So he wants to be known for his love of westerns now, and his other stuff that's coming out, and
Passion
he
projects.
he loves, yeah, he loves John Kreese. I mean, my imagine my son's 16 years old and he gets to go to the valley and stay over Uncle Marty's house, who's Sensei John Kreese, and or come in and hang out here, wherever I stay, or if I'm back home, come and hanging out at the house. I mean, any young teenager would love. When we went to the Cobra Kai, premiere party for the last season, there were thousands, not hundreds, but thousands of people in this. It was called the Gene Autry uh, Museum, and it's a huge football field of land and field with people. They set up this big movie screen, and there were thousands of people, and people were going crazy for the cast. But when he came out, people were like flipping out, and my son thought it was so cool because as we're walking up, and we're in LA the day before, I took him to a designer and got him like all this real cool clothes and stuff. And people asked my son, take a picture with me, take a selfie. And I said to my son, you like this, huh? And he goes, yeah, I kind of do. So, so
It took him down
it
to
was fun.
Rodeo Drive.
Yeah, I took him to yeah, I did. I took him, um, um, Marty's a real down to earth guy. Now, this month, the second week or the third week in November, and the date will be posted. We have the Bronx Tale. It's the Sunny, and
That's the latest release.
we only made 1,000, and it's 12. I'm gonna open this.
I love that piano box
Now
finish.
you're the first person seeing this.
Hey, hold on,
Anyway,
hold on, hold on. It worked. Okay, now show it to us. That's what the button's for.
I love it. So this is the Bronx Tale Sunny that's coming out in November. I actually have about 15 at the shop. So if you go online and order them or inbox me or call if you don't see them on the website, just call the shop, 718-364-4657. Inbox me at Pauly Cigars or LCG Cigars on Instagram, or go to our website, lcgcigars.com. And it comes in this beautiful box. This is just the outside case. So you unbox it
Oh, it's a
and look at the
protection.
shine.
Oh,
Look
I
at the shine on that
love
box.
it. Okay, hold up the original box. Hold up the box you just took that out of.
So it came in this box.
Yeah, so that
And-
doesn't have the lamppost on it. Am I not seeing? No. So the inside box has the Belmont Avenue lamppost on. Okay, that's
Okay.
badass.
And this is the inside.
Look at that.
And you have,
Ooh. Personal little thank you note from Chaz about the cigar.
no, well, this is dedication to his grandfather. And it says, actually, no, I shouldn't say that.
No,
The
yeah.
first cigar was a dedication to his grandfather. This is a dedication to the character Sonny, who was a real life person. And we all know who the real Sonny was, meaning Chaz and my friends and family. Not everybody knows. And it's a dedication and a letter, and I'm not gonna read it. You have to buy it to read it. And it's a dedication to that guy, Sonny, and who the character was based on. So that's in this box. And uh
12
this is
count
only a
box too.
thousand.
Okay, 12 count box.
This is also a Dominican Nicaraguan blend, Habano wrapper. It's look how beautiful that is. This
That's
is actually a
gorgeous.
Maduro, and
Box
this is the only
press.
this is the only Maduro in the Bronx Tail line. We figured, Sonny was a strong character, a strong person, had that strong, demanding presence. So we should make a cigar that's pretty strong. full, full of flavor. That's very rich. It's rewarding at the end of the journey, and that's the Bronx Tale.
And it's a showpiece
Stunning.
box. It's a
It's
showpiece
definitely showpiece
box.
box, and this is something that you give to a gift. You can also give as a gift, not to a cigar smoker, to somebody in your life that loved that movie or anything to do with that type of genre. Also, somebody who maybe was in trouble growing up in his life and you know came through on the well on the other side, and it's kind of like a thing where always make use of your talent. The worst thing in life is wasted talent. And
Show us
this is
that.
some
Show us the white thing that's in the top corner under the limited edition. Okay, so that's badass. So every box will be numbered. So
yeah.
that again, it's the little fine details like that that make a collector series collector. And you guys did that the right way. You made that a collector box by
Yep.
doing the way you did and then putting the number of each box. That's awesome. I love that.
So this is going to be
What's that go for MSRP?
it's going to be $300. It's
Okay.
going to be expensive.
I don't
It's
think that's
because
expensive
the
for a show cigar.
tobacco that we made for the cigar is extremely high end. Once you smoke it, you'll know why. It's not a cash grab because I guarantee you'll wish you had one after you buy it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna make only 1,000. We only made 1,000 of these. I took a few store owners that were able at the PCA to reserve
Oh,
a premiere event. So the second or third week in November, we're having a big red carpet at La Casa Grande Cigars and Arthur Avenue, and we're gonna have different tiers of uh, of entry. But everybody who comes and buys a ticket will get at least one Bronx Tale cigar. If you get the box, you get to hang out with Chaz, get a meet and greet, get it signed. Uh, you'll get a bottle of wine uh, with every ticket purchase. So look out for that on LCG Cigars or at Pauly Cigars on Instagram or at LCG Cigars on Instagram. I guess you'll make a few announcements down the road about it. I'll do,
absolutely.
we'll do some kind of,
Sure.
but it'll be in the next few weeks here in New York, La Casa Grande Cigars. And look, it says Belmont Avenue.
I know.
That's
I
the,
love the fact that what I like about it is the box, the actual box is different than the outside box. So it's kind of like a nice little, oh, I didn't expect the Belmont Avenue sign to be on the box when on the exterior of the box it doesn't show that.
it's
So
really,
that's
it's
that's
really a
cool.
collector's piece.
It is.
But
It
but
really
the
is.
cigar is the cigar is insane. The only problem is I can't smoke them because I don't wanna just like keep taking them, and I try not to smoke them too much so I have enough to sell to people. Uh, I'm trying not to
You're trying to be a
get
good boy.
I'm trying not to dip into the supply and
Yeah.
keep, so other people who really want them won't be able to get them.
So when did you said this launches when again? Or when is that the red carpet event?
Chaz is gonna kill me because I forgot the date. It's November. It's I think a month from actually it's a month from yesterday.
Okay, so
That's
it's a
the day. I don't know the
Wednesday.
date. I don't know the exact date, but it's
We'll
like
get the
30
date
days
out to
from
everybody.
yesterday.
We'll get the date
Because
out to
we I
everybody.
was in LA and we put together a whole uh agenda for this event, the different tiers, how if you buy one ticket, it's all you can drink and eat and party and get a box of cigars. The VIP, you get a box, you get it signed, you get to hang out with Chaz. Then there's lower tiers, you get in, you get one cigar, you can get a bottle of wine. If you buy another bottle of wine, you can get that signed by Chaz. Like there's different tiers, and the food is amazing. You can ask Martin Cove, you can ask any celebrity that's been to my event, or people who've been to my event, fans. that'll tell you that when you come to my Pauly Cigar, everybody knows a Pauly Cigars party is unlike any party you've ever been to. I have all
If you
kinds
guys
of
follow him on Instagram, just go back and look at some of his pictures that he posted, the people he's rubbing elbows with all the time. I mean,
yeah, it's definitely a who's who
yeah.
of celebrities that come through there and people in the industry. So it's I don't really advertise them because I don't want them to think I invite them for them to draw a crowd. But I have DJ Surge, very famous DJ, platinum winning Surge. He'll be performing that night and on the one and twos, as we say. He's amazing at what he does. We'll have the cigar rollers, the La Casa Grande cigar team in full effect. You'll see 10 guys pumping out cigars. If you want to sit down and roll a cigar for yourself, you'll be able to do that. We'll have amazing food, Italian food, steaks, like just amazing food that you would never believe could come out of like that in a cigar night. That you're just dancing, partying, listening to music. It's not a sit down 4 course meal, but we still have the food that's insane. And all you could drink and eat, you can't beat that. And it's a fun night. So I throw a few of these events a year. I throw a big one in the summer called Ferragusto. So look out for that in September. It's always like the second week of September. Uh, we crush it with an outdoor Italian event, and we have DJs and celebrities. This is going to be the pre-holiday one, and then we're going to have one in December, the first week of December for the Martin Cove East Coast premiere of A Prodigal Son, the cigar that we only made 1,000 boxes for. That one, we're going to have a tour that week of New York. We're going to stop about 3 different locations, maybe 3 to 4 locations. But the first one's going to be at my store. We're going to have a cigar event, and it's going to be insane. Another red carpet. So you have November, the Chaz Palminteri Sunny Drop. You have December, you're going to have the Prodigal Son East Coast premiere. We just did a West Coast premiere a week or 2 weeks ago in Malibu for the Prodigal Son
That
drop.
was a big success.
Yeah, well, it was really insane. It
Yeah,
was
that
really
was
good. There's a
huge.
place called Malibu Cigar Lounge, and we're teaming up with a lot of stuff. We're actually in talks of actually me bringing La Casa Grande Cigar Factory to LA. It's a lot of work. It's going to be a little different. Smoking laws out there are pretty screwed up. But if you want to do anything that you want to do, you could just get done. All you need is the idea. And then you move forward and you figure out how to get there. But the idea is there. I think I would do something in Malibu, but we're not there yet. We're still talking. We're in talks.
So I was curious, kind of with Abe being such a big influence in the show, Smoking, obviously, Smoking Studios, and Abe being such a big influence on my life. How did you come across Abe? How did you even? What was that initial connection? Because I kind of feel like in Smoking's universe, we heard about you, and then we saw him visit your factory, and now we have a cigar coming out. So, kind of walk everyone through what that progression was like. When did you meet him, and how that friendship uh, developed?
With Abe,
Yeah.
well, anybody knows Abe's a tough dude to get.
Yeah.
Abe's honest. He'll tell you what's on his mind. He's straightforward, and he doesn't. And I love a guy like that. So I'm not a friend person where I just make very close friends. I'm just not. I do a lot of stuff in solitude. I enjoy my privacy, and to be my best times are like when I'm by myself. Just creating in my mind whatever I want to do next. I think I get overwhelmed and overstimulated in large groups of crowd. I see guys going out, the guys that have a big steak dinner. That's just something I don't really do. And Abe bought a shit ton of Bronx Tales for the Great Smoke the year that Chaz went, and uh, the company Nat Seco, Xander Gregg, Epic asked if we would go, and so he invited us to the dinner the night before. So I inboxed him a week before.
The red meat lovers dinner. Everyone is
The meat,
what
yeah,
he's referring
it
to.
was it was amazing food, and that guy is a really great dude from Red Meat Lovers.
Shout
Awesome
out to
cat.
Evan Darnell.
Evan's a great guy, and so we went out. Okay, so the like 2 weeks. No, no, actually, like 2 or 3 weeks before, I think it was. Me and Chaz were going to Boca. I don't know how this exactly happened. We were going to Boca to do something with cigars, and he had his off Broadway show going on down there. It was in Palm Beach, and he was doing the Bronx Tale. He does the one man show where he
Mhm.
plays all the parts, and that's where everything was originated from. Many years ago, maybe more than 30 years ago, way more than 30 years ago. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
80s
35
was the
years
one
ago.
man show.
Yeah, he did a one man show, and that's what turned into the movie. Uh, we went down there to do cigars, and we were actually doing the one man show. And I invited Abe to go see the one man show, and he said, "Wow," he goes, he goes, and I inboxed him, and he was up. I inboxed him really late at night, and I said,
He's
"Hey,"
still up.
I said, "Do you wanna?" And we never met, so he probably thought I was just like this weird cat, like just inboxing him out of nowhere. And my phone's gonna die. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
This happened all the time, right, with you guys?
No worries. Yeah, so I remember what he's talking about because when Abe brought on them to talk about this, he brought up the fact that he went to the one man show on KMA.
Hold on. You could
Yep,
take me off screen a
no
minute.
worries, no
Hold on.
worries.
I'll tell you when to go back on.
So yeah, we'll let him come in here. Let's see. Brian says Abe sold the red meat lovers cars exclusively, followed by Saka. That's when I first used smoking. Abe. Okay, so Brian. You met Abe through buying the red meat lovers cigars. Interesting. I met Abe through just the show and reaching out to him originally, and I sent him this huge letter, and I'm sure he's got it somewhere. It's terrible about how I'd like to do and work with them and this, that, and the other, and he gave me a shot. But I'm sure he's got that original letter somewhere. Um, and it's a little bit of a joke. So we'll wait for Paulie to come back on. But one of the things that I just got to say to everybody, and I say this as often as I can. Thank you so much for watching the show. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Thank you to all the manufacturers and companies involved in partnering with this show. From Hidden Barn being the exclusive whiskey to Smoking, having naming rights to the studio, Cigar Clowns, Cornell and Diehl, Kristoff, all of them. Big, huge thank you. The show wouldn't exist without without all the supporters and Paulie obviously being a big supporter of the show too. So just from the bottom of my heart, everybody watching, I take this opportunity every time to say it because I still don't believe I get the opportunity to do this on a Thursday night and have this be like a hobby thing for me. So bringing Paulie back in, thank you so much for the support, Paulie, as well.
No, I
Appreciate
love
you.
it. Thanks for letting me be able to help. So back to the story with Abe is I inboxed him, and I think he reached out to Dean from Epic and said, "Do you know this guy?" And he goes, "Yeah, that's Paulie. That's the guy doing the Bronx Tale with us." So he was like, "Yeah, man." He goes, "I'd love to go to this show." He goes, "Are you going to be coming in?" And I was like, "Yeah." So we flew in, and the show was sold out, and I think we had tickets for like A Rod or something like that, and Chaz was going to give those tickets to Abe. Like we were just really, we were really grateful to Abe for buying all these cigars. So I got in a car. Abe's like, I'm gonna be here for a couple hours. You want to meet? So I got in my car. No, I didn't. I don't drive when I'm out of state. I dropped him in an Uber and I went over to the Smoke Inn. And I go in and I see all my cigars being sold like at the front register, and I was like really moved, and I started taking pictures because after 30 years I'm always in my store selling my stuff online. I don't really like try to put salespeople out there to put my cigar. I can't
Hey,
make them
Cody.
fast. I sell them the minute I roll a cigar. It's already spoken for. So when I saw them, I started taking pictures of myself with the cigars, and then that they were in the showcases. And then I went in the back, and we talked for about 2 hours. And he went, and so I said to Chaz, we gotta fucking snag him 2 seats, man, because they're all sold out. So then I call him back, and I'm gonna say, yeah, we had tickets to someone else, and we're gonna give it to you. And the minute I said that, he goes, no, don't worry about it. He goes, I went on, and he went on some second hand site, whatever, and spent like $1,000 on these tickets. I mean, just to do it. Not that you know what I mean? Like, he's just that type of guy. Like, he was just like, if I want something, I'm gonna do it. And he
Sure.
bought those tickets, and Chaz was so angry. He was like, why would you buy that? He goes, you're my guest. And so the next night, we went to go see the show together. We hung out with Chaz after, and he said, could you come on our show in the morning? So we actually did the show live from the
Mm-hmm.
Smoke Inn the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Me, Chaz went to do the show with Abe, and we just hung out and we went out for lunch, and he just became like a brother. Like, we just, he's so brilliant in the retail space of cigars, of everything. I think he's just a brilliant business guy. If you People that work around him, you just sponge off his his knowledge on how to keep a business together, because he is nonstop just doing things that it's mind-boggling how he just gets that great smoke going. It's almost like a production of a movie. If you haven't
It's
seen it,
huge.
but if you haven't seen it being done, it's really done with so much love
Mm-hmm.
and nothing to do really with money, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why it just comes off the way it does. I mean, it's like a Hollywood production. Trust me, Abe doesn't need me financially. I don't need him financially. We're both fine in our lives. But I mean, he is. So I'm not saying this so I could get into smoking. He's just he's just a great family guy.
Mm-hmm.
You should want to be like a guy like that. He has an amazing family, he has amazing kids. I go to his house on occasions for his family, and even when it's not about cigars, and he flies in, we'll get the wives together and we go out to dinner. We don't. It's not always business, and if it's something that he doesn't like, he'll let me know when it comes to business. He'll tell me, this is what you're doing wrong and this is what you're doing right. And I'll say, wow, and I appreciate that. Or I'll call him and ask him a million questions, because I'm a neurotic like that. If I get something in my mind, I'll need somebody that really knows what they're doing to kind of like either talk me out of something that I really want to do, or talk me into something that I think I should do, but I really don't want to do it. So I'll go to Abe with things like that. And one night in Las Vegas. We went to some really. It was like I called it what did I call it? Uh, the Illuminati of cigars, where like Eric Espanosa called us in the middle of the night, and we like, come meet us at this place, and it's like this room built into this wall of this private place, and when you opened it up, it was like it was like five like really big dudes in the industry, like just sitting around, and me and Abe walked in. I sat down, and Abe came up with this idea for the Amico, which is the cigar he wanted me to make, and Eric wants me to do a project. It was cool. He brought me into like a different world where I'm happy with what I was doing. Like, I'm a street guy. I've been on my own since I'm 16, so I live in a very, very good place in New York, and I have a great life, an amazing son, and he goes to a great school, and my life is great. Like, I don't need anything else. All this other, like, if I never did this stuff with Bronx Tale or Prodigal Son, I was fine. This is whole other pivot was more for legacy. So one day my son maybe could say, "Hey, Dad, you're the cigar guy. You make all these cigars, but you were never in cigar aficionado." Now, there's a lot of people that'll tell you that's not a big deal. They, how you get in that magazine. You know how you get. Listen, let me explain something to you. I'm in this month's issue of Cigar Aficionado. It's the September October issue. I did nothing to get in Cigar Aficionado besides receive a phone call from Dave Savona, and he said, "I want to interview you for Cigar Aficionado. I want to come to your place," and he did. I didn't take any ads with Cigar Aficionado. I didn't do anything with Cigar Aficionado besides always say I never read Cigar Aficionado, but I think they're responsible for the boom. Let's call it what it is. I mean, when that guy came out with those magazines and had celebrities on the covers, it wasn't doing as great the industry as it was doing after that magazine came out.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just say what it is. And there's some amazing publications out there. The Enthusiast Report, Cigar
Cigar
Sign,
Journal. Yeah.
Journal. There's some amazing guys. The guy Stogie's Press with Boston Jimmy.
Yep.
Like
Boston Jimmy.
there's really good guys
Cigar
out there.
Coop.
Coop is the man.
I love
Oh,
Coop.
I love
Love
Coop.
Coop. Coop's a
Cigar
big
Coop.
friend of the show. We
Yeah, I
love
love
Coop
that.
here.
I love that guy, man. He's a good man. I'm gonna leave people out, and it's gonna make me look like I'm a prick, but
No,
uh,
there's too many people sometimes.
but I wanted one day to be in that magazine, and I am, and I wouldn't have done that had I not been at all these shows, and people are like, "Who the fuck's that guy with Chaz? Like, why?" Man, he gave me a cigar. That shit was amazing. Gave a cigar to a guy in the Great Smoke one time. Said, "Wow, this is a great cigar I made in my life." I was like, "Wow, I just made it yesterday at my store in the Bronx. I'm glad you like it." So being in that magazine, and I don't think he printed this. I have to reread the article because I never watch any podcast I'm on. If I do any acting or anything like that, I never watch it. It's just something I just don't do. I don't read anything about myself. The anxieties come on, and I can take things the wrong way.
Yeah.
I don't. I always feel like if I don't see it or I don't know it, it never happened. So yeah. So when I told Dave, I says, he goes, "Well, why are you doing all these celebrity cigars?" And I just leased a place out in Dominican Republic to because here's the thing. Now people want La Casa Grande in their stores. They want my cigars in all their places. But if I have 10 cigar rollers, right, and each of them are producing 200 cigars a day and they're working 5 days a week, that's a lot of cigars. But all those cigars, again, are spoken for my 30-year
It's not a lot of
clientele.
cigars for nationwide.
Exactly. So I have to do that. So one of my cigar supervisors is going to retire and go out to the DR. His brother is already a manager for Hochi Blanco. So he's gonna probably just supervise for me, and I'll put out 10 cigar rollers to start or 20 out in the DR. I already got my spot, and it's already being,
In Hochi's
taken care of.
factory?
No, no,
Okay.
Hochi's brother, Hochi's manager, his brother is a manager and is my
Okay.
manager here in La Casa Grande.
Yeah, I wasn't
They're,
sure if you were going to
they're
grab
brilliant.
10 rollers in
They-
his factory.
no, I wouldn't.
Okay.
No, why would you leave that? You ever see his factory? His factory is insane. That's like if you
It's
wanna go
very
see the way
nice.
shit gets done, man, you should go look at that. It'll blow your mind. But,
So we've
no,
got a
just
part two to your career now.
yeah,
You've
and
proven that you can go national, so it seems like you're putting yourself in a position to take national. Obviously, not lose the core rollers at
I'll
La
never lose
Casa
the call. The minute that
Grande,
happens and
but
something goes wrong and I have to pick one or the other, it's gonna be the Bronx.
of course.
But
But
but,
that's
um
awesome though that you're seeing a part two to this, right? Because for 30 years you've been doing this, and now you're like And don't, I mean, let's be honest too. I'm sure there's always been a part of you like, it'd be so cool to get my foot in a factory somewhere, but you've kind of had enough trials to where you're like, okay, this is going to be successful. So let me put myself in a situation to fucking get a factory and go national.
Well, it all happened right away. I was talking to Abe, and I said, Abe, I feel like every time I do a national brand, I look like someone's younger brother. Like my name's on the box, but I got to share the spotlight with somebody. It's a pain in the ass. And then I feel like when we're showcased together somewhere, I have to explain why I'm there, who's this, who's that, and it's just. I says, I think he goes, well, then you're gonna have to just do it on your own.
Hey, Kevin, I
And
assume you
he
know
says, but
Kevin Gold, right?
huh?
Do you know Kevin Gold Rockefeller?
No.
Oh, okay. He just said, "Hey, bro." I thought he was. I didn't know if you do. He's up in New York too, so I wasn't sure if you
Wait,
knew him.
what's the name?
Kevin Gold, Rockefeller Cigars.
Spell the last name.
Gold,
Oh, Gold. Okay. Oh, Gold. I'm sure.
Rockefeller Cigars.
I know Rockefellers. Of course, I know them.
Yeah, that Kevin just chimed in and said, "Hey, brother." So that's why I was just saying, "Hey."
Oh man, hello. Thank you. Um, that's really cool. So, what I told Dave when Dave Savona asked me why you're doing this, you're so comfortable in everything you're doing now. I said to him, listen, I want to know if I'm really a cigar factory or I'm just a gimmick.
Hmm.
Am I really like, all right, the tourists come, they come take a cigar rolling class, it's cute. Wow, this is just like in Cuba. Or am I full of my own bullshit? Like is it really cigar factory or is it a gimmick?
Sure.
So that's why when Abe said to me, Paulie, you could do it, but there's also something good about royalty deals, which are great too. You put your name on a box, you make the blend, and they do all the work, and that's easy. But there's something to doing your own thing. Like when I made the amigos, it's something different. It's kind of like no risk, no reward. So you're putting everything out there. Because I'm always with the net when I'm doing it with someone else. There's always a net there, right? They could handle a lot of the load, and I could do my own thing. But now if I have to do it on my own, it'll prove if I'm really a cigar maker,
Hmm.
blender, a cigar. You know what I mean? Am I really that?
Put your money
And
where
that's
your mouth is. Yeah.
yeah. And hey, listen, what's the worst that can happen? I I I take my toys and come home from the DR and continue on killing it in New York.
And you got a bunch of
Um,
great cigars to smoke too.
yeah. And what's the most that can happen? The most that can happen is I I did a great I created an industry, in my opinion, where the DJ is not the only thing you need to have at your wedding. You have to have a cigar roller. And there better be cigar rollers out there that really come and thank me for bringing this shit to the forefront. Everybody's gonna say they created it, they were the first, and I get it, but nobody's ever brought it to where I brought it, where we're having 30, 40 cigar events a week. I'm
Holy
everywhere every
shit.
week. Yeah, I mean, I'm everywhere every week. I am the guy that's the cigar. I'm the entity of excellence in like cigar entertainment. I'm the one who made it something. I pay insurances on that. I have a permit. I have to check every time I do one of those cigar events. I have to make sure that I'm allowed to do it. It's a lot of work. I'm not just some guy that's on Instagram that you inbox and maybe he shows up to your event or maybe he takes your deposit and runs and or he comes to your cigar show, your show, shows up in an Uber, lays out his cigars that, he probably just unwrapped the wrapper and just rewrapping them. Like there's a difference when you get a cigar roller and there's a difference when you get La Casa Grande cigars.
So
People go,
look. Oh, go
why are
ahead.
you so expensive? Why are you way more money? I got a guy that rolled cigars at my wedding for 700. And my niece, she's tough. She runs I don't deal with the cigar bookings really. And she'll tell them, then go with them. Because we don't really have openings. So either you want this or you're not, because, you want someone to show up at your wedding 100%, maybe you should stick with us. We're getting the the insurances that we need sent over to the reception areas, to the locations, the venues. We're the ones who have to reach out to this, the department. We have to reach out to make sure the people that are in charge of the law that pertains to this, and I'm not going to say any department names, but that we're allowed to go do that day, because they could say no. They could say no, and we don't do it. Or go to Instagram, type in hashtag cigar roller, and go in and go to some brand and inbox them. And when they call you, ask them if they're going to come with an attendant to interact with your guest and explain everything and anything about rolling cigars, or cut that cigar light if you, or put it in a bag for later, or letting you know why a Torpedo Maduro is different than a Robusto Connecticut, and putting labels on. And that's what you're going to get with me. I don't know what you're going to get with anybody else. So that's what you have to figure out when you're ordering. That's my main passion, is making sure that when someone orders cigars from us, or hires one of our rollers to come to your event, it adds a wow factor. It impresses your guest, but we do it in a way where our integrity is 1,000%. The professionalism is there, and you go, wow, I'm moved by that. Because when I go to Santo Domingo and I go into a box factory, I'm moved to see that shit to see, like, wow, look at this, how they make these boxes. They have about 100 employees here, and each one is doing something different. And this
Hmm.
is an art. And when I kind of lost that, I kind of lost that in my mind, where I was like, man, what I do is art. People come, and I tell my rollers this: you get to come to America, and you've done you got the American dream by doing an art, what you love to do, roll cigars, and people come and they look at you like you're the greatest thing since sliced bread, like they paid a ticket to come and see you. So that's
You're an
and
event.
sometimes I take that for granted, that I'm in such a weird position in life that my job is to have you come and see guys making cigars. I mean, that's really something different, right?
So, question for you then: when it comes to weddings and cigars, say you've got a 200-person wedding, are you bringing X number of already rolled cigars and then rolling a certain amount at? Because obviously a wedding's 3-4 hours. You're not gonna maybe roll 200 cigars in 3 or 4 hours, or maybe you can. I don't know. But like, does everybody at the wedding just come up and grab? Like, is it a free for all, like a buffet? They just come and grab what they want, or is it like how is? I've never been to a wedding with a cigar
You never
roller.
been to one? Oh, come
Not
on, you
what
have
is no, I have not. So like I'm just imagining like a buffet of cigars. I could just walk up and try one or a couple.
well, I've mastered this over the years, of how to get this done, because in the beginning, when I only had one roller on myself, you would uh, try to go there and roll 300 cigars, and you'd have a line around the block. So what I do is I have my attendants show up and make sure they're kind of like a gatekeeper between the tray of cigars, because left to someone's devices, they'll go there and grab 3 or 4 cigars. Some people don't know what a cigar is worth, and they'll just be like, "Oh, I'm friends with the bride," and they'll throw and they'll throw cigars, like 5 to 10, and people are like, "Whoa, whoa, you can't do that." So when you step up, they explain, "Hey, this is that. Is this your first time? Are you a cigar smoker?" And they'll put it in a bag for you. They'll label it for you, put it in a bag, cut it for you if you want to smoke it, and they'll give you one, maybe two. You tip them if you want to. I think you should. And if you have 200 cigars, we'll say, listen, do you want them rolled there? Because if we'll roll them there, we'll do it for you rolled there, but there'll be a longer line if you want us to come with like 25 cigars we roll that day that are fresh, that aren't just like sitting somewhere and we just unleash them. No, those cigars are made that day just in my factory, and they lay them out and it just gets the party started. A lot of people just want the party to get started and not have a long line. So we do that. Uh, they hear the usual jokes. Oh, I used to do that in college, or hey, you have any Cuban Macanudos? I usually smoke Macanudo Cubans, there's no such thing as a Cuban Macanudo. I'm saying this is what the
Oh,
people
of
say,
course.
and you got to see like the eye rolling my attendants give
Oh
like
yeah, I'm
when they
sure.
hear this like this. Oh, that's the first time I heard that. Or if I give you something special, could you roll it up for us? Like we've heard everything. But, you know,
Can you roll this
it's
Swisher Sweet for me?
yeah, yeah. Could you if I give you this something funny, would you roll it up? And, the girls or the guys who work for me, they roll their eyes like, "Oh, yeah, we never heard that before." So, but when you get La Casa Grande, you're getting excellence. It's just it's different. It's just not a cigar
But
roller
are
at your
your
party.
packages done at like the assumption of one cigar per person at the wedding? So if it's
Well,
like a two
that's
hundred
why I have
person wedding, it's a 200 cigar wedding.
that's why I have booking agents. So when you call, somebody will tell you, these are the 5 packages. This is the amount of cigars you'll get. But how many people are you having? How many are men? How many do you think? And then so now then they're putting together a plan for you. What are the colors of the bridesmaids' dresses? Because we'll do labels that match that. That's how
Oh,
specific
you
we get.
guys label them too?
Yeah, we make labels. Hold on, I gotta let my dog in. Hold on.
That's awesome. I didn't realize that to the point where you guys were doing labels for stuff. I would like to have a cigar roller at my wedding. That would have been a lot of fun.
You'll be better off not having a wedding. Trust me. No, I'm just kidding. I have a wonderful wife. I'm joking. I'm joking. She's gonna come out and she's
She's
gonna
gonna
drink. So
knock you out.
yeah. So no, people say, "Do you do weddings?" I go, "Yeah," and I also do divorce parties. I do bachelor parties.
So what's bigger for you, weddings or bachelor parties?
Uh, weddings,
Weddings?
weddings. Yeah, bachelor parties. Guys don't want to sit around watching a guy roll cigars. You know,
Okay,
you
that's
know,
fair enough. Fair enough.
you know what I mean. Like bachelor parties. Well, we do a lot of bachelor parties where we give you cigars to take with
Like
you.
yeah, so like are
Yeah.
you getting are you doing a lot of where they're buying cigars for the bachelor party from you?
Oh yes, favors for the bride, favors for the groomsmen. Yeah, all the time. We do
So
everything,
do
man.
you
I
guys
can't
have a
even tell you
wedding
it's what we haven't done is the question you should ask.
if they book you early enough, do you have a bachelor party kicker package for
No,
the
I've
wedding to
never
where
asked
you
that, but
could be
that's you
like,
might have given me. So now, if I use that, will you ask me for a percentage of that idea? That's a brilliant idea.
no, I was just thinking like when you said, sometimes you do favor for the bachelor or for the groom. Well, I mean, if you had like a 50 cigar kicker for a bachelor party where you obviously not rolling them, but you provide them, I think that would be a big add-on.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good idea. I have to. You know what? I'll probably
I
forget it
get
by
them every
tomorrow.
once
Could
in a
you
while. I'll
text it
text
to
it.
me?
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
text
because honestly,
it.
I'll stop this and then I'll go on to 7 other things that are on my mind. You don't understand. Like I really have to like get a tape recorder and start speaking into it or speaking into my phone because there's so many things and I'm like, wow, that's such an amazing idea, and then I just never get to it. You just leave so much on the table.
One of the things that I've thought is always very interesting about you is how many conversations you can have at one time. I called you and you had like 3 or 4 different things going on where people were talking to you. You were in traveling. And I remember I gave you like a couple of seconds too long of a pause. You're like, you there? I'm like, yeah, I was just listening to you. Like, oh, I was about to hang up. I just, you're, so like, it's just interesting to me, like how like I have ADD too, and so like I get how you can map your brain that way, but it's fun to to
It's
see that
severe. You have
and
severe ADD.
to work to be on the phone when you're having multiple conversations, and then you come back to me to check in, and then you're and then you go back to do your thing. So
It could be hectic. Yeah, I mean, listen, you always just keep going so you don't go anymore. There's days where you can have burnout. ADD burnout for sure. Like nobody realizes. So a lot of things that uh, I like to talk about. Men always want to be the toughest person in the room and badass and get over it. But men suffer from very bad anxiety and depression. And then when they got a family to take care of or a job to go to, they can't. Could you imagine having all that on your mind and not able to like go forward or function? So that's something that, guys should always uh, try to look into and take care of, because I'll be honest with you, when you get that burnout and you don't want to do anything and you just like, ugh, you just, that's when the doom scrolling starts and on TikTok, and guys get lost in their own heads, or girls as well, and nothing gets accomplished. And you can have the greatest idea and the greatest creative mind, but when you get stuck in that loop. So when I do disappear on you in the conversation and I'm doing other things, it's because if I don't get to it at that point, I'll probably just forget about it and won't get back to it.
I totally understand. I don't fault you for it at all. I actually think it's impressive when people could do it and do it at a level where it's actually competent. Instead of going, oh, I could have several conversations at one time and then they're lost in it. They're like they're confused. So like it's always fun for me because I do that in my job too. 25 years in sales, I'm the same way. And so I do that. So it's always fun for me to be on the listening end of somebody else doing it, but successfully doing it instead of like trying to guess where they left off at. Because you'll talk to two people and then come back right back to where we left off at. And it might be like a minute of me waiting for you to come back. And I'm like, I didn't even remember where we left off at. So that's a huge what people felt was a crutch. I commend you. You've made it into an asset for you. Um, Now the one thing I would love to do is call you one time and you tell me I'm sitting on the couch doing nothing. So my next question to you is, what does Pauly do when he's not Pauly from La Casa Grande Cigars, traveling all over the country doing stuff? Like, what do you do for just you?
Are you talking about me? I'll tell you what I do for
Yeah,
fun. It's not just for me.
without work. Like, what do you do for just you to avoid burnout?
I hang out with my son. We go to a lot of rap concerts. I kind of like a lot of underground rap. I think he likes to produce, my son, and he's into like producing beats and writing lyrics. And we go to like a lot of underground rap music events of kids like 18 to like 30-year olds. Not, I'm not talking about Jay-Z and all that. I'm talking about up and coming people, and we're getting into that network.
The
So
no
I love doing
names.
that because I love to see my son dance and have a good time, and people like, wow, you're the dad of the year, that's the great. And I'm like, well, I'm having such a great time too, they're like, because I'm the oldest guy there sometimes. I take we go to like we go to Coachella together. I've taken him, my son's 16, I've taken him to Rolling Loud, Coachella, we go to Gov Ball, all big music festivals, me and my son. We just got back from LA and I took him to see Playboy Cardi, and we then we'll go down to like uh, a small venue underground rap show for like somebody like Xavier Sobase or Osama San, like different uh, hardcore rap. I enjoy seeing him happy doing that. That's my joy. Another thing I love is taking my wife or just even by myself sometimes going to a movie. And I don't like movies today, but I like the popcorn in a movie theater. I like the popcorn, so I go I go and get
You can sit
go.
still for a 2 hour, hour and a half movie?
Yeah, yeah. No,
Wow.
well, sometimes I fall asleep, but I like having that popcorn, having the smell, seeing the chairs in the dark room because it reminds me of like when I was younger. So I love that. Um, I love going to the movies. I love Disney World with me, him, my son, and his mom. We go to Disney World. I'm a Disney fanatic, so it just takes me to a different period of life where I just become like a kid. So people that make fun of adults that like Disney, there's like a whole uh, meme on that and a lot of
You
different.
gotta meet Paul. You gotta get Abe to introduce you to Paul DeGracco, or you probably met him at TGS. He was one of the guys walking around with the microphones, dressed in the suit, but he is a huge,
Disney.
massive Disney guy, like to the point where, like, according to KMA, and I'm sure they tease him a little bit more than what the reality of it is, but it was like he's there like every week.
I would probably be that if I lived in Orlando. I would listen. I'm in LA all the time. I mean, I love Disney. I won't go without them though. I'll never enjoy myself if I didn't go without my son and his mom. It would just not be the same. But I love going with them to that. If you're asking me what I enjoy, I like the gym. But that's like every, like I don't like going to anybody. I don't enjoy going to the gym. I have to do it. It's something. If I don't do it, then I'll just. I probably won't like the results because I love to eat
Hmm.
bad food. So I don't drink alcohol. I never did. I never tried a drug, smoke cigars, never smoked a cigarette or a joint in my life. So I don't have many outs really of like things to just like, blow off steam. So I love fast food. And coming from an Italian neighborhood with a strict mom, where everything you ate from steak, chicken cutlet to a slice of pizza, you had a glass of milk. I know it sounds gross, but you always had a glass of milk and green beans. Like that's the way. So
Oh
or
yeah.
you never ate out. Like eating out was terrible. So I love to just like gorge sometimes on bad food. Like I could be my wife says I should be a professional eater. I will take a challenge on anybody. I could wipe out a whole crave case of 30 on a Friday night, two
Love
pizza
White
pies.
Castles. I love White
Yeah, but
Castles.
I could wipe out a whole 30 case by myself and in very quick time. So I enjoy that and
Are you a
Frasier.
reader?
No, Frasier reruns. Frasier is the greatest show ever written. And being a kid from the Bronx, and you're growing up and you're hearing this Anglophile, come up with all this brilliant, you know, uh, it's a brilliantly written show. It's kind of English
I had to
humor.
use a thesaurus just to get through most episodes growing
Yeah,
up, like
it taught me
in a
so much. And
dictionary.
when I met him, I told him that I said, you really taught me a lot of uh, how to speak properly and I love that show. So when I'm going to sleep, a lot of times I listen to I know, I mean, I've seen hundreds of episodes, hundreds of millions of times. I know them all by heart, but that's another thing that I wind down and relax, watch, listening to Frasier. So those are some of the things.
Um, any sort of like water sports, like fishing, anything being in
No,
New York, you never got into
I
that?
don't enjoy fishing.
No.
No, I tried it a few times. It's just golf. I can't do golf. I don't like fishing. I don't like really watching sports. It's very boring to me because I played them my whole life growing up, and so for some reason, uh, you know, I used to do shoot fighting. They call it MMA now, but I mean, when I was like 19, 20, it was called shoot fighting, and we used to choke each other out and stuff like that. And I don't know why. When I watch it today, and people love it. It's almost like a chess match now. So for me, I just get bored, or maybe I'm too anxious to sit there and see it through. But I get bored with a lot of sports. I don't watch them. I played baseball my whole life. I played every sport and did MMA. I wrestled. Uh, I did everything there was to do, and I don't really view sports.
Are
I don't
you
know
a
why.
are you a car guy?
No, no. I
Do you
could buy any
collect
car.
anything?
I could buy any car I want probably, and my first car ever was a Jeep Wrangler when I was 15 or 16, and my cars ever since were Jeep Cherokees, Grand Cherokees. I'm a creature of habit. So I just keep. Some people thought I had the same car for like 10 years. It was just the same color, but every 2 years I would trade it in. And then eventually I had to get a different color because they didn't have the one I wanted. And then people were like, "Wow, you got a new car," but it was the same. It was a different car. It was just the same color all the time.
Are you a collector of anything?
Mm, not really, not really. I no, actually, I have all my old toys as a kid. No, but I don't collect anything. I don't have anything
You're not like a
that I bought in
wine
my life.
collector. You there's nothing that you seek
No.
out that you actively try to. I don't see you going antiquing. Uh,
I love to see that stuff. I
oh
would love to
yeah,
go see it, but I
I do
just
too.
no, I don't. I do have. Do I have a lot? I have a lot of collections of a lot of stuff, but they're given to me as gifts. A lot of stuff that I have, very beautiful collectible stuff that are given to me.
What
Um,
would? How old are you now?
I'm 51, September 30th. I just turned 51.
What would a 51-year-old you tell an 18-year-old you if you can go back? What advice would you give yourself?
Man, I don't know if I could say it on this podcast. Don't 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 look up to gangsters. Don't run the streets. You just see. But if I say that, then everything that I've done my whole life has got me to this point. But there's been a lot of nightmares too. You know what I mean? Like so, there's there's
Sure.
a lot of legal
Yeah.
stuff, things that have that bring a lot of chaos. So it makes you. But what I would say is, um, just your father is your hero. Like don't and follow whatever he does and tells you to do. That's basically what I would say. So
That's
do
good
whatever your
advice.
parents just do whatever your parents tell you. Do whatever they tell you and follow that. If you have the parents like I had, I don't know. Not everybody has great parents. I have
No, I
amazing
do.
parents, though. I drove them fucking up a wall, and I didn't have to, but I was just a wild kid. But I would tell an 18-year-old me like just listen to both your parents and just follow everything they tell you to do.
If
Even if you
you
don't want to, just do it.
if you could go back and not do something business wise.
Oh, I can't. Wait, but business wise,
Yeah, oh no, not personal wise. I wouldn't ask you that question. If you can go back business wise and go, boy, that was kind of a mistake. What would you do?
don't ever get jealous or worry about what a competitor is doing. That's what I would say, or that's what I would do over is if somebody when I was 30 would copy something I did, try, and they all closed down eventually, all of them. I'm gonna open a cigar shop. They worked for me for a couple of years, and they'll go open it. Nowhere near me, and I would get like so like annoyed by it. And like competition is so good. You don't even know what competition brings out in a person. It brings out everything good in a person. It really does. Uh, when you have uh, somebody doing what you're doing, and if they do it a little better than you, it's going to make you want to do it better than you're doing it, better than they're doing it, and then protect yourself by doing it the best that it could be done. So I would also say get someone the best at what they're doing, ask them what they want, and pay them double that amount. But make
Okay.
sure they're the best at what they're doing so they never
Yeah.
leave you.
Sure. No, yeah, that's oftentimes that's where the problems go in the trade industry. You trade up these people that they leave and go start another plumbing company. Now they're in competition of you when you trade them. So I totally agree with you on that. If they're worthwhile, pay them, because the last thing you want is your employees to be your competition.
Yeah. I mean, how would it feel me pulling up in in a Bugatti, or even a BMW, and then my cigar rollers are there breaking their ass every single day and come out
Honda
and see
Civic.
me. It's just, but then when I go to the DR and they all have homes now in the DR. When they came to me, they didn't own a home in the DR. They have beautiful homes in the DR now, and they have BMWs and they have nice things. But I don't get jealous. I'm actually happy for them. I'm like, wow, and they go, man, we couldn't have done this without you. And
Yeah.
I've gone into things in my business life where they stuck by me, where they could have been like, wow, this is getting a little too hectic. This is years ago, but hectic, and this is there's shakiness going on here, and it's not concrete. We may not have a job forever. Times where where I didn't know where I was going to be in the end of that year, and I was just like, okay, like I'm in a little trouble here, so I don't know. They could have left, and they didn't. So we're just like a big, strong family.
And that's
And
awesome. That
my
says a lot
parents.
about you as a business owner, though. A lot about you as a business owner that they're willing to go through and weather the storm.
Oh, you don't
You
even don't
know,
ask. Don't ask
so
what they've done with me. You know, um, just on pure trust and pure trust and my word and then their word. We've trusted each other through really hard times. You would I can't really tell the real story because it's kind of like then I'd be glorifying a certain, people look up to certain bad things,
mhm.
like they think it's cool to be an anti-hero. But they've stuck with me with times where I had to face certain things, and they were like, wow, like, who knows, is this even going to be a business here? And they stood by and they stuck it through. And that this is a while ago, but I mean that I'll never forget it. Those guys have been with me for 30 years, man. It's a long time,
That's a
and they're getting
nobody.
old.
Nobody has jobs for 30 years anymore.
They're getting
Nobody.
old. They're getting. I mean, all right, let's just say like 20, because 2 years of my life was retail. So let's just say 28 or 27 years. Like they're getting, and a lot of them have passed on, and a lot of my rollers have passed on, um and we've had. I don't really hire younger rollers. I just something I don't do. They have to be like at least in their 40s or something like that. They have to have some kind of a gentleman way about them because I'm
Sure,
sending them to events
sure.
with they're going to be females there, and you
A
want
little
to make sure that
distinguished.
you don't want a young guy like googling the girls or
Correct. Especially at a
looking
wedding.
at, yeah, oh, like anything. I send them with a female attendant. They have to be gentlemen.
Hmm.
So
So here in closing, some of the lightning round questions I ask pretty much everybody is what is your favorite cut? Meaning, are you a pick, straight, V, punch?
um I, anybody will tell you that knows me that I don't need a cutter. I'll kind of like bite off the end or use my fingers to just like pull a little hole. I like the way I made the Amico where I could just pull the tab
The
off.
pigtail, yep.
But I think a bullet cut is a pain in the ass to do. It's it's just it's good, but it's just I like a V cut.
Okay.
If I had to pick one, I like a cat's eye. Cat's eyes are nice.
All right.
If I had to pick one.
What's your favorite rapper? Now you could give me musician and cigar rapper or just cigar rapper, up to you.
Oh, I'll give you. Well, my favorite rapper, as far as music, right now could be. You won't know who it is, but it's called Playboy Cardi. Nobody really know who it is. For the young kids. But for a rapper, a Brazilian oily, shiny Maduro.
Okay, okay, fantastic. And what is, I know you don't drink, so what do you pair your cigars with?
I love coffee, like espresso, and I love taking that Toro Maduro, and after I cut it, dip it in to the espresso. I'll stir the espresso when it's creamy, and it just comes out of the machine. I just dip in my Toro Maduro and just stir it around with the cream on the end and just light it up. I
So
enjoy that.
you do a French dip cigar.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Hey, you know,
Or a Pellegrino, a lot of Pellegrino I enjoy. It's all right, right? You're right about that, pairing it. It's all with your mind, the kind of things that go together, right?
yeah, there's no
Like
wrong answer.
I always think of a cup of coffee when I think of a cigar. Not always, but it feels good when I have it together. I enjoy that.
The one thing I can't do and smoke cigars is eat.
Oh yeah, people do that at
Yeah,
events and they're eating it.
Kevin Shahan will have a big old plate full of food and smoking the biggest cigar possible that he can. I can't do that. I can't do that. I also don't drink alcohol when I eat. I'm weird. I would rather drink, like, people are like, oh, pizza and a beer or a burger and a beer. That sounds awful to me. I'd rather have a Coke. Like, I don't like alcohol when I drink for whatever reason. It's not refreshing to me.
Well, don't a
Um,
lot of folks have wine with dinner? Isn't that a
Yeah,
thing?
and that's never been. I've always done it. I've done it, but it's never been like, oh man, you know what? I just got this big old prime rib. I'm gonna go out and give me a big old bottle of red. Now it's usually like I'm gonna go get me a 2 liter of Coke or a Diet Coke or
Okay.
something. I'm much more on the bubbly side, the
Oh, I like Coke
carbonated side.
Zero.
Oh yeah,
I'll
I'm a
pro
big zero guy.
Yeah, I'm a big isn't that like the greatest invention ever? It's so
Oh
bad for
dude,
you. Oh my
dude,
god, read the late. It's so terrible what's in that drink.
Dr. Pepper Zero is the best.
It's the
The
best. Pepper
best.
Zero is
It's
insane.
awful.
Even the diet Dr. Pepper was good when you made it really cold, but the Zero just like it's just so bad for you. Oh man, read what's in there. It's
I
so
don't
hard to
want
just
to.
drink water.
I don't want to read
It's
what's
just
in
so
it.
hard to drink water all day.
Well, I try to drink. This is all water. This is 64
Good for you.
ounces. I try to drink 2 to 3 of these a day.
Good for you. That's
So
really good. That's
I
so
do what
important.
I can. But the one thing I'm unwilling to give up in life is my carbonated refreshments. And so I just have a 2 liter and I just take a sip out of it here and there, and it lasts me forever. But you know, I don't pour a glass of it. I don't
It hits the
allow
spot.
myself a
Like you're taking a
glass.
shot. That's
Yeah,
cool. Everything in
absolutely,
moderation, man.
absolutely. Yeah, I only could have one drink at a time. Like, what is it? Mark Twain, I think. No, not Mark Twain. I forgot who it says. They say I smoke cigars. I smoke cigars in moderation. I only smoke one at a time. I think that was
So that was it?
Hemingway.
Oh, it was
I
Hemingway.
think it
Okay.
was Hemingway. Yeah, yeah. So all right. Well, I'm curious about this one. So I usually end the show and I ask this to Chaz and I ask this to literally everybody that comes on. I took this from James Lipton inside the Actors Studio. I love the introspectiveness of the question. When you meet your creator someday, whoever the creator is that you believe in, what do you want to hear?
Um, I walked away. Growing up, I grew up in a Catholic church, and I went to Catholic school, and not everything's always gravy with that church. There was a lot of problems and stuff that you experience while going through those schools and stuff. And I recently have come back, like going back to church, smelling the incense, going there, our Father, doing your confession. It actually is like coming home again, going to the Catholic Church for me. So the one thing I would want him to say to me was, I'm glad you came home. I'm glad you came back
That's
when you
awesome.
did.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's a great thing to hear too, right? It's one of
Yeah,
those. It's a question with no wrong answer. Just I love asking it because not a lot of people think about it. Um, Paulie, I gotta tell you, man, this has been such a great friendship. You and I have, I think, become fairly good friends, fairly
I
close. We've talked
appreciate
quite a
that. Yes,
bit over
I
the
agree.
last few months. You always have a home here on this show and this podcast, whatever you want to. And again, I really appreciate. Thank you so much for making the month of September a bucket list month of this year for me. And I know the people that watched the show had a great time during both Chaz and Martin. So, from the bottom of my heart, brother, thank you so much. I'm looking so forward to finally meeting you at TGS, the 20th anniversary of TGS. So, everybody, the tickets go on sale in November. And I'm not going to lie to you. If you want VIP, you better do a queue. So they're doing a queue system this year, like Ticketmaster. So when you go in, you're going to be in the queue and you're going to get your ticket. No whining, no bitching, no moaning. VIP is gone within an hour. I think it was
It's so
gone
worth it
last
too.
year in like
The
an
VIP is so
hour.
worth it.
Oh, it's so worth it. So if you're looking to go to TGS this year, you will get to meet the man, the myth, the legend, Pauly DiSilvio, as well as Martin Covey will be there with him, and whatever else he decides to bring cigar wise. Apparently, he likes to go around shows just giving cigars away, so you never know what he might end up doing while he's there. But you're
Well,
definitely
uh,
gonna love his
I
stuff.
wanna let people know if they call and they mention this show, the Rocky Mountain Show, and they want a box of Brock's Tales, I will have Chaz personally sign them. But they have to, and I'll give them an Amico, the cigars that I'm smoking that I made for Abe. I'll throw them a nude one. But they have to mention that they saw me on this event, this show.
All right,
If they
guys.
call the store 718-364-4657, or go online lcgcigars.com, order and let us know that it's from this show, then I will have Chaz sign one of those boxes and throw you an extra, and they'll be numbered.
What was that
So
phone
I only
number? 718.
364-4657. You could go to my Instagram and inbox me at Pauly Cigars, Pauly Cigars, or LCG Cigars. Those are my Instagrams. Or inbox me on our site, lcgcigars.com. But I only have about 15 at my shop.
All right,
So
everybody. So if you
this one, I
call,
just opened them. So I'm
if
letting you know now. This one's going in the box. This will be probably the first one. If someone calls tomorrow and asks for this, I'll have it signed.
and
I'll
it'll
give
be
you.
open anyways if Chaz is going to sign it. So don't worry about it being
Oh
open,
well, I got to
everybody.
take. Yeah,
Correct.
and I'll sign a copy of Cigar Aficionado and send that to you as well. Being
All
that
right.
I'm in this month's.
All right, everybody. So give La Casa Grande a phone numbers in the bottom corner. Go to LCG. When you call them, tell them you saw him on Rocky Mountain Cigar Show. Mention the show. And you had said that you would be, if somebody bought a Prodigal Son as well, that they might have to wait, but you could maybe get Martin to sign it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay,
If
so
they say this show, if
if you
they do
buy
it
a
from this show,
Yep. So
yeah,
if you mention the show by a prodigal son, absolutely fucking worth it. Absolutely worth it. And so is Bronx Tale. Absolutely worth it. Buy a box of each, buy two of each, and mention the show, and he will have all of the boxes signed, including throw in an amico, sorry, and as well as the cigar aficionado issue for this month that he is in. I don't understand what you guys would be waiting on. You're getting two living legends signing a box, and I would love to have that box, Sonny's box, with Chaz's signature showcased. That is in a beautiful box. So thank you so much for being willing to offer that. So everybody, don't hesitate. Give them a call. As long as you mention this show, the offer is good. I think is for
yeah.
several
So I have
weeks.
them.
So as long as
Yeah,
he
as long
has
as I
them,
have them.
and which will probably only be for a few more weeks. So as long as you have them, give him a call. Mention the show. You'll get it signed by either Martin or Chaz. So thank you so much, Paulie, from the bottom of my heart, brother. Love you, man. And
Love you, brother. Light them up, folks.
amazing. This has been amazing. Check out Paulie DiSilvio over at La Casa Grande Cigars, lcgcigars.com. And here's his phone number again, 718. This is not his cell phone, everybody, so don't get super excited. That's in the comments below. No, it's 718-364-4657. And until we see you again, smoke what you like. Smoke as many La Casa Grande fucking cigars as you can. And have a great, great rest of your week. Bye, everyone.
Boom.